Hello.
Ruth, I'm gonna stay here to introduce you because nobody knows you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Um, so hopefully I share this all over the place. So hopefully people log in.
Give everybody some time. I'm letting everybody in.
How's everyone doing? You have your pens, your papers, su cafecito, ya se desayunaron.
I'm like, amazing
This
because
would be
we're gonna write.
my third coffee, so I'm like, let me
Oh,
not.
wow, Stu.
Super ready.
Estoy re-
Damn. Ruth, there's people in the waiting.
Is there?
Yeah, keep that window open. It's easier for you to see.
Yeah, I see now. Okay. Great.
Did anyone have issues with the Zoom link? Leslie, how you doing? I'm sending you a virtual hug. I hope you
Good.
had
I
a
miss
great
you guys.
summer.
Yeah, I missed you all.
Eduardo, hi. Damn. Nos quitamos por 2 meses and it's like I haven't seen you guys in a year. How are you? How's the start of the school year, Leslie?
Not so good, but that's to be expected. No, because the kids are every year the students it's like they miss middle school with the pandemic, so they have a lot of social emotional issues.
Ah.
Yeah, so yeah, but estamos aquí en la lucha.
Did you read Jason Reynolds' new book?
No, but I have this new book that I'm so crazy about called Loca.
Yes. Wait,
Oh
you
my-
got an arc?
Oh yeah. I
Okay,
told a couple of people. I told a couple of
girl.
people.
I'm like, espérate, not everybody has that arc of that book. Wonderful. Yeah, we're gonna do the book launch for that book with Elizabeth Acevedo.
Oh, okay. It's a little
Here,
raw.
here
The book.
first.
It's
You
a
heard
little
it here
raw.
first.
Nice. Look forward to that.
We're setting that up. Nice. Okay. Grace period is over. El que llegó tarde, llegó tarde. Thank you all for being here on time. I love that. Is a way to show respect to the facilitator who got here early. Okay. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm only here to introduce our new writer salon assistant, Ruth Cáceres. You're going to see her face here every Sunday. It's not going to be me because I have a lot of work. Okay, so Ruth here is one of our volunteers and she creates some of the content for the Instagram account. So when you see cute stuff, say, hey, Ruth, that looks good, you know? And she's gonna help out with the writing workshops, including the writer salon, okay? So I will pop in here from time to time just to say hello to you guys because I do miss you. But other than that, these sessions are being recorded. So if you miss it or you got to leave early and you want us to share it, send me an email and I'll send you the link. But other than that, enjoy your rest of your Sunday. Oh, before I leave, because I'm not coming back. At 1:30 p.m., I am teaching a workshop for creative artists who are interested in applying for grants. If you don't know how to fund your creative work, whether it's literature, film, dance, theater, anything in the creative space, and you want to know how to get that money, I am teaching a workshop at 1:30. It is virtual. I have shared the link via the WhatsApp announcement. I don't know how many of you have me on mute because I do share a lot of stuff, but here I'm putting the link in the chat. So feel free to join at 1:30. I walk you through the process of where to find these grants and what to look out for. Okay. All right, guys.
Sounds
So
great.
enjoy
Thank you,
the
Angie.
rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the workshop too, because Elizabeth is incredible. All right. So nos vemos.
Thank you, Angie. Bye. Okay. Good morning, everybody. So as Angie said, I'm Ruth Gassides. I'm gonna help out any way that I can every Sunday. So feel free to reach out to me. I'll put in my email address in the chat just in case there's anything you would like to ask or need. Today's workshop, as you may already know, is called Introduction to Blueprint Your Story. So it's an intensive planning for writers facilitated by Elizabeth Villaman, who's here present. Thank you for facilitating this workshop today, Elizabeth. So I'm gonna read a little bit about Elizabeth's background so you know a little bit about her before we begin, if that's okay. Elizabeth grew up on an island near the sea and surrounded by uncertainty. Her interests in art began with poetry and painting, and from there, the fusion of the arts became the hallmark of her creative processes. She is a writer, a screenwriter, actress, director, and a creative writing teacher. So we are honored to have you here today, Ellie or Elizabeth. I don't know how you would prefer to be called.
Ellie. I cannot
Ellie.
change my name here, but Ellie.
Okay, Ellie, thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna hand it over to you, and if you need anything, just let me know. I'm here to support.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Let me just share this with you. One moment. Full screen. Okay, everyone can see. Yeah, perfect. So I'm so excited to be here and to see familiar faces, Sue and Eduardo from the retreat last year. I'm so excited you're here, guys. This is, like Ruth said, the introductory workshop, Blueprint Your Story, Planning for Writers. This is like an introduction of the course I'm gonna give, where we're gonna see like how to get ideas into well-structured narrative. And I'm Ellie Villaman. So for the objectives of the course, first we're gonna just see a little bit of the first part, which is like idea generation. Understand like the fundamentals of creating diverse writing ideas. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about idea selection. We're gonna learn techniques to choose the most promising ideas because I know we as writers have many ideas. So how we choose the best idea to start writing? What are the things we have to do to get to that? And then we're gonna talk a little bit about idea development, like how to transform selected ideas into a well-structured narrative, but just a little bit. And of course, Sue and Eduardo knows that my workshops are like practical. We're gonna do exercises and we're gonna enjoy. But first, what's very important for me is to connect, like to start with the connection, because to truly connect with our writing, sometimes we need to disconnect from the word. We have to be present to hear, to listen, to feel more. So I want you to all to close your eyes for a little moment. And I want you to start breathing in and hold it for a little. And then just let it go. And then again, we're gonna breathe in
Hold it. Again. And one more time, we're gonna breathe in. Hold it. And then breathe out. And it's on something is in our mind, like our partner, our work, our family. We're just gonna let it flow, let it go. We're just gonna be here in this moment, touching the ground, hearing what's around us, connecting with ourselves. And we're gonna visualize what we want from this workshop, what I want to get. I want to be more creative. I want to be more focused. I want to be here, just that's enough. And I'm gonna breathe in again. A big one, let it out. So pop in the chat how you're feeling after this. It's very important before the writing start to disconnect from everything in order to be present for our work, for our ideas. So you can pop in the chat that you're here, that you're present, and that you're ready. So first, as I don't know all of you, I want you to introduce a little bit of yourself. Just tell your name, tell a little bit a project that you're working on or what you like to write about. And then important thing, what challenges are you facing now? Because that will help me to help you more. So let me just get out of here to see faces. Who wants to start to share?
I can start.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
My name is Suarisa, and I am here because I really want to make writing like a more of a practice. And like I really enjoyed when we were at the retreat last year and you did your creativity workshop. I realized how I would use that part of my brain all the time, and now with like life and other things, like I don't activate those parts as much. So yeah, my goal and my intention for today is just like to practice like being in the space and writing and taking the time for my writing. I don't know
Okay,
what
and some challenges that you're
Oh, the
facing now
challenges, right.
with
Well,
writing?
yes. So one of the challenges is like the practice. Like I have a lot of ideas, but then just to be consistent with the writing has been a challenge for me. And then also I feel like sometimes you're inspired about one. I'm writing two scripts right now, and I feel like I go back and forth too much. Like it's hard for me to focus, but then yeah, I don't really know how to handle like having several ideas at the same time, but I also don't know how to do it otherwise. So I don't know. Yeah, if you have any thoughts or advice around that, that would be amazing.
Awesome. I'm taking notes. Let's go with the next one. Leslie, I have here.
Yeah. Hi, how are
Okay.
you? I think there's two
I'm
left.
fine.
Or oh, good.
Leslie Martinez.
Sí, sí. I I'm a teacher and in New York City, and I take a lot of writing workshops. I'm a writer. My challenge is that I don't have like I think similar to what you were saying before, I don't have a writing routine. I'm not consistent. And right now I have 50 pages of a young adult like novel that I wanted to turn it into that, but it's just been really hard to write the story, to just keep working on it. And so I hope that I'm able to maybe start again or maybe just breathe what I have. But that's been my challenge, my biggest challenge.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. Eduardo?
Hey everybody, Eduardo Almonte. I'm working on a magical realism memoir, and I think what I'm struggling with is is the multiple sides of thinking, the multiple ways of thinking, because a topic that I'm writing about is how, in order to make it in this country, we have to think and feel differently. But my art is all the way over there, where I'm allowed to feel, and often feeling it takes you out of sync with survival. And I've never been much of a planner for any of my works because they're so autobiographical. I basically just plug away. But now I need to remember a lot of stuff that has happened. And that's almost like, ugh. So I'm here to find a little bit of structure to the many ideas that I have without ruining my life. I think that's the best way that I can put it. Can do that,
Thank you, Eduardo.
I would really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Kimberly Vargas.
Sí, soy yo. I'm writer, a musician, singer, and an educator in New York City. And I guess what I'm looking for is just like this moment of just like taking the moment of sitting and just write. I think that one of the challenges that I'm having is that as well, I have so many ideas and it gets to the point like I don't know which one like I should finish first. And then when I go back, I go and say this is not good enough. So I think I'm like struggling a lot with this phrase of it's not good enough. And yeah, so I don't know, that's like the biggest struggle.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing that. This is a safe space for us to share those things. Lilian.
Hi. Hi. Lilian. I have a couple of projects that I'm working on. For me personally, I live in the Bronx and I am an educator as well. Time is a little tricky as of late, with work, allocating the time for your projects. I find myself becoming a little more introverted as of late. As a good, I don't know, friend, I guess you can call. Said that sometimes in the workshops, right, in the retreat, you're gonna have to find yourself secluding so you can actually create. So yeah. That's it.
Thank you. And nice to see you again. Maciel.
Hello. I'm Maciel. I'm a little bit of everything, a spoken word poet, an author, mostly a storyteller. I think where I struggle the most is getting out of my head. And I overthink a lot of things, and sometimes it is not as hard as we make it seem. So yeah, that's where I'm trying to work on.
Thank you. I love when all of you put the camera so I see faces. Little Man Lopez, who is this one?
Hi, my name is Moises Littleman Lopez, and I was trying to think of some of the challenges, and I think it's trying to create and design an environment or ecosystem or atmosphere um, where there's productivity and there's not so much trauma, but more of a different kind of setting because I'm writing like a creative nonfiction memoir, autobiography type of thing with about me and my mom. And so I want to create some kind of environment where she feels that she's a part of it and where she's eager and excited um, to uh, to tell her story um, and to design this book.
Awesome. Thank you also for
Thank you.
sharing this beautiful project. And Leslie Núñez.
Yes, good morning,
Oh,
everybody. I'm currently working on my memoir. I have about like 100 pages written down. And I think the biggest challenge for me is just like that practice, right, of like establishing those routines and like really sticking to the practice and like being consistent with how I'm showing up for it.
okay, thank you, and nice to see you too. Retreating. Julie?
Hi everyone, I'm Julie. Um, so my goal is really writing a collection of short stories that pull from moments in my life. But the challenge has been really having too many points of view since it is a collection of stories, and frankly narrowing it down so that it makes sense overall. And just the roadblock of not writing in such a long time and having to sit and put it down on paper. So kind of getting out of my own way has been the hardest part.
Okay, thank you. Amazing short stories. Love it. And Giselle?
Hola, hi, good morning. One of my hi, one of the things that I want to work on today is organization and organic structure because I have a lot of poetry that I've been writing through the years, but I feel like I don't have like a team, and sometimes I feel over the place, and I'm not being writing. I was writing last week, and I feel good again, so I think I need to write more, but I need like the time. Sometimes the time is not a good time between work and all of the stuff that I have to do. So just like it was structure.
Okay, thank you, Giselle. And Roberto, the last one, Roberto Garcia.
Buenos días, mi gente. Estoy desayunando. Me disculpan. I just want to have more tools to use whenever I get stuck. Like I know the story, I know what I want to write. I feel like I just need like more tools to overcome certain obstacles. And when I saw the description of the workshop, I was like, "Yep, that's for me." Because I just need to know, like, boom, what to do and when I get stuck, like, or when I encounter a situation where I can't keep moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Nice breakfast. And nice to see you. Okay, thank you all for sharing all the vulnerability and the projects and your ideas. And what I can see is like, is writing mentality, we have to work in our mentality, and that's the first part for being writers, because everyone can write, everyone can have a project, but it's our mentality that change everything, that help us to have routines, to have consistency, to work when we don't want to, and all of the things. So it's very important to work in our mentality, to change this mentality. But we're gonna start. Let me again here. Full screen. Okay. So Ruth already introduced me, but I just want to show you a little of my world. I'm an actress, I'm a writer, I'm a teacher, and I love the combination of art to create. For me, it's very important in my creative process, and I know a lot of you are artists too, to have many different perspectives. So don't be afraid if you are a person that have multifaceted things or ideas or projects. It's okay. We just need to know how to put it in a structured way so we don't get crazy in the process. In that way, I just want to ask you a little questions before we start, and you can pop up in the chat if you feel it resonates. Like, have you ever started writing with excitement but found yourself losing momentum halfway through? Do you struggle to organize your ideas and end up feeling overwhelmed, unsure of where your writing is hidden? Or have you ever had a great idea but felt stuck when it came to turning that idea into a well-structured draft? And do you find yourself constantly revising the beginning of your work, unable to move forward because you're not confident in your structure? So tell me in the chat, yay or nay, if you're going through these moments. I want to see. Well, I don't see in the chat, but I see faces like, yes. So don't worry, because here, these are just challenges. These are just, we have to start normalizing these things. Don't be so afraid when these happen. We're just gonna talk to this situation. We're gonna start looking ways to change the way we've been doing things so we have another results. And it doesn't matter if you lose the momentum, you can organize your idea and you can have a struggle through the process. But when you have tools, when you have a community like this, then you feel more secure in your process. Okay. So basically, I wanted to talk to you about the benefits of planning, because I know a lot of writers have like this, oh no, if I start planning, then I will lose my creativity, and I don't want that. And that's just like a myth, because planning is part of being creative. It's in the way you do it that change everything. If I plan with music or with colors or with pictures, then this process is more fun than in a way that is very robotic. So it's just find a way that I feel good in the process, and this doesn't stop me, because when you plan, this gives you clarity and the work can flow because it clarifies your message. I know a lot of you talked about, I don't know exactly if I want this idea or the other. So planning will help you with this. Time management. A lot of us are teacher, have kids, or I have a partner, or I have many things in life. So if I don't manage my time, then I won't concrete any project. So I need to see my reality and work through it. And knowing that maybe this month had been hard for me, but doesn't mean that the other will be the same. And this will help our creativity, because a structure provide a framework for creative expression. And that's like a myth that we have to start changing, okay? So we're going to start with the first one, and we're going to do an exercise. The first thing for a writer is the idea generation, the starting point of any writer. That is often one of the most challenging aspects, because we have many ideas, but generating idea isn't just about coming up with something new. It's about identifying topics that resonate with us, that have depth, that sustain a full piece of writing. And a lot of you talked about personal projects, the things that matter to me. And that's very important. And that's the best way to start writing, with things that connect us. Because if I start writing about things I don't know, then the process will be more difficult. It doesn't mean that you cannot do it, but I recommend you start with the things that you feel. That you feel that this is my thing. This is, when I talk about this, when you all talk about the projects you were working, you were like happy and excited. And that's what we need to write. So first, we're going to take like 5 to 7 minutes to just write down 10 topics that I like or that catch my attention. And in another column, topics that I don't like. Oh, I don't like to write about this. Okay? So we're going to start with that. Let me set a timer. Write 10 and 10. 10 that you like and resonate, and 10 that you don't like. Okay, do you have it already? Or you need more time? More time. Okay. So now that you have these two columns, I want you to, the ones that you liked, I started with my dons and realized I've written about, oh, that's awesome. That's why it's so important to have both. And we're going to talk about that. So now that you have the ones that you like, I want you to identify if you can relate these topics one with another, okay? Let me see if you talk about mother and children, then this is related, you know? Find out if you have like similarities and put it in a circle or with a color, the ones that are related.
Ellie, can you repeat for me, please, those first three topics that were on the first screen, like planning, creativity, flow? I didn't get a chance to write those down.
Oh, let me, okay. You will have it, but let me just go back. Here. Clarity and flow, time management, and enhance creativity. Okay, how you all doing? Good, nice. And now from the ones you like, if you have to choose one today to start writing today, which one you will pick? Okay, let me just put them. Come back. Okay. Okay, so 3 minutes more and then we start sharing a little bit. Leslie, it doesn't matter. You can choose as many as you like. But at the end, you will choose just one. Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna start here. And before we start sharing a little bit, this is an exercise that shows us how our minds work. Like we first think about things we like, things we don't like, then the things that we like have something in common, and then we start creating. This is like a process, a mental process. And as Maciel said, it's very important to know what you like and what you don't like. Also, what you don't like help you to get to what you like. And then you can see that many of the things that I like are related in a special way that I only know. So it's not maybe in the logical way, but in Kimberly's way or in Leslie's way. So that's what we're gonna see a little bit. So I want you to share some of the topics that you write. Who wants to start sharing?
I wrote down things I like.
Okay.
So I wrote down family, the like inner thought process, like what we sit and think about when we sit and think, relationships, history, transformation, experience, how much capitalism sucks. I like to write about other art too. And I like to write about like colonialism and decolonialism.
Great, great, Roberto. And in what way you think these topics have similarity or resonates with you in general?
I think that as a Dominican American, thinking of the history of my island and the history of my family and everything that, they had to do to come here to the United States and going back to DR and coming back to the US. Like all of those things just are always like swirling in my head. So that's how I feel they're connected, like to my lived experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I want you to see. Like these topics, if another person take them, will say another thing. But this is your perspective of these topics. Okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Another person?
I'd like to add on to Roberto's, which I pretty much noticed that my likes and dislikes still somehow correlate to things in my life or that has either like personally happened to me or someone around me, like family, friends. I write a lot about my hair, but there's also a lot of hair trauma in that, which technically everything on my list has some form of trauma into it. So maybe that is my thing, I guess. I also have family, life, emotions, I think that's a big one for me. Like when I don't understand what I'm feeling, sometimes I just write, and then when I read it, I'm like, okay, I guess this is what is really happening. But yeah, mostly everything goes back to my life and life experiences.
That's awesome. And it's awesome what you said, like the things that we like and the things that we don't like are so related. So we have to see that and we have to be open to that so we can create honestly in the process. So thank you for sharing that. And another person?
I would love to jump in actually because it's similar to what Maciel said. I actually noticed that what I didn't like were things that were not familiar to me or that I didn't understand, or maybe I felt like I had to research more. Like, oh, I'm not an expert in this subject, so that's something that maybe I won't touch. So I added more broad things, but like fantasy or sci fi is something that there was a level of discomfort, and I was like, oh, I don't think I would ever touch that. Like, and it just didn't feel familiar, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's another important thing. When we don't like something, is maybe could be like Julie said, like we don't know this thing and we feel like scared of this thing, or we feel like there's trauma there, like Maciel said.
Right.
So there are two things in this, the things what we don't like. And this is very important to differentiate one to another. So thank you for sharing that, Julie. And another person before we follow? Lillian? And then Kimberly, okay.
Kimberly can go. I was just volunteering in case nobody else can go. You
Okay,
can go,
go
Kimberly.
ahead and then you
Me
go.
too. I was just volunteering, but um, I want to talk about love because I realized that um I have been very lucky to find love, but I never say it. Like I can act. And everybody says that I'm a very like a loving person when it comes to the actions, but I can never speak about love. Or if I like, even if it's like not love, like I don't know how to say it, not love, but I cannot speak about love. Like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And then just move on. But I know that in my head, I'm just like all these ideas falling about love. So I think I will like, I never have written about love actually. So yeah, I know it's very like cliche, but for me, it's something that I never speak about.
Okay, that's awesome. Like this question, why I haven't talked about this, because this is something good in my life and I feel lucky. Not everyone is lucky in love. So it's good to see what stops you from getting to that topic. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. And Lillian, to finish.
I wrote a bunch of stuff, but let's see, something I can compare to another that can be challenging for me. I'm actually a very lustful person when I write some poems. I don't really share those. And something that might correlate with that can be childhood trauma when it comes to rape, right? Which everything kind of ties into one another, which is interesting, right? When you look at the yin and yang of life and how sometimes as people, we tend not to share too much, right? You think you're sharing, you think you know someone, but you really never really know, you know? Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Lillian. I agree. I agree with you. We don't even know ourselves very well, so how we expect to know everything about another person. So I want you to notice that this exercise is good to do it once a month so you see how you are changing through a year. Am I talking about the same things in a year? Am I having changes? I change perspective. I'm mixing what I like and I don't like. So it's good to do this exercise and to in a year to see the difference between what I like, what I don't like, what I'm writing, what I'm afraid to write, and all these things. Okay. So we're gonna continue. So in that sense, all of this is about idea generation, and you guys talk a little bit about this. Sometimes we have this pressure to be original and to like Kimberly said, well, love is a little bit of a cliche, so I don't want to talk about this. But don't be afraid, because your perspective, your voice is what will bring this to the topic, to whatever it comes. So you have to learn to embrace and see how what resonates to you can be more personal, so you can take away this pressure and just be yourself and let the right readers find you. Okay. The other thing that you also talk about is having many ideas. You will have this material, so don't worry. And this is like a common challenge. We can have many ideas through the creative process, but we need to know what we are more passionate right now in this moment. And also other things like, do I have the time to work in this project? Because if I need to do a lot of research in this topic and I don't have that time, this is not the right topic right now for me. So maybe I'm going to start with something that I have already researched, or I have already information, personal information, and I can start. And like you said, if I'm having emotional problems right now, maybe it's not the best moment to start writing about this, because I'm going to be hurt. And to write, it doesn't mean that I have to hurt myself. So maybe, okay, I know I have to deal with this thing, but this is not the moment, because I'm too vulnerable. I'm going to take everything personal, and I'm not going to be objective in the process. So that doesn't mean that through the process, I'm going to have emotional moments, of course, because we write about the things that resonates with us. But we have to be selective in that way. Another thing is the fear of vulnerability. If I have this fear to people to see me or to see what I've been through, then I'm going to stop writing, because I don't want to be judged or exposed. And honestly, when we release that fear, we found magic, because we can help other people. We can connect with other people. We can see that we're not alone, that other people go through the same. When Maciel talk about her hair, I feel identified, and I know another women too. So we're not alone in this process. And the last thing is finding depth in idea. O sea, I mean, not every idea is rich enough to support a full piece. Some writing ideas are for poetry, another for short stories, another for novels, screenwriting. You have to be selective, and that's the thing that I will go deep in the course. If you're interested, at the end we talk about this, to know, how we can see as writers if this goes to poetry, to short story, to a monologue, to an essay, to whatever we are writing, to a memoir, etc. So do you have some thoughts about what I just shared, or what you feel, wow, I felt that? Let me know some thoughts. I can start naming. I'm the teacher here. Hi, Rosita.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, sometimes I get overwhelmed because I have so many ideas in my head. I don't know which one to pick.
Oh.
I had that situation in my therapy also. I had so much to talk about, I couldn't focus on one. And I came up with like a gesture that really helped me, because it feels sometimes like a ball of yarn and it's like all messed up. But if I could just pick one, pull one thread out, I'm in there. And I can pick the others another time, but today I'm gonna pick this one. So that helped me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as Rosita said, we just see that we can choose one, because you guys, all of you choose one idea. Maybe I will change it in a month, but
Right.
now I choose this. So it's not like you're tied to this idea.
For
And
not
I want
forever.
you, exactly. I want you to start, Rosita, to see this a lot of idea as a good thing for you.
Yes,
And you will
actually, yes.
see.
The abundance of ideas. I got so much to say. Wow.
Yeah. You will just have to learn some techniques that I will show you, but this is a good thing. It's better to have ideas than not to have it. So thank you. Let me see in the chat, people. I'm surprised about not writing if I'm going to cause harm. Wow.
Better
That's,
more, but not enough.
yeah, better more than not enough. Thank you, Rosita. That's another thing. Sometimes we are afraid that if we talked about something with another person, that this will hurt the person. And, for that comes fiction. We don't have to tell exactly what happened, but we just have to take that moment, that person, that feeling, and create something. And also, it's important to know the intention behind what you're writing. If your intention is to hurt someone, then that's not the good way. But if your intention is to heal, to transform, to expand, then there you will find something very special. And no matter what you write, you're going to hurt someone. So that's inevitable. So that's it. And another person want to share before we follow? Lillian?
To add to that, like you just said, right? We're gonna, unfortunately, when you're creating, there should be no worry about how other people are gonna receive it. You're creating it, you're letting it out because it needs to come out. It's a story that's burning inside of you to come out. So let it out. People are going to receive it how they receive it. Your duty was to give life to that story.
Thank you. And thank you for that passion. I love it. What I mean is, there are two things. Like, as writers, first, we need to think about how we feel about this writing piece, about this idea, about how we connect. But we also have to think about the readers. How will they receive it? What is the best way to talk about this to connect with other? Because sometimes I have teachers that they know a lot, but they don't know how to pass it. So I'm like, wow, this person knows a lot, but I don't understand. So for what it serves that I know a lot or I am passionate, but I cannot pass it to the other person. And in that way, I need to know, where is my audience, the people that will love to to read about this, to know about this topic, to follow my ideas. Because if you go to a place where they sell clothes and you're looking for water, then that is not your place. So yes, you have to think about these two things, but first you have to start with yourself. Why this is important for you. Okay? So we continue. Thank you for sharing. I'm happy you guys talking. So in that way, here are some techniques in order to identify what is the best topic for us. And I just have 3 here, but I have many more. And the first one is free writing. You have a topic, then you start popping up ideas, letting it flows. It doesn't matter that it doesn't have any logic. You're just letting this go and see where it takes you. You can find magic and you can find nothing. That's okay. But it's in the practice, like you said, that you will find something special. So free writing, I love this technique. It could be for emotions, for a topic, for a situation. It helps you a lot to find information because your subconscious mind is working on this. Have you tried this technique? Put in the chat so I can see. The other one, before we start the exercise, is mind mapping. There are a lot of people that are visual, like me, that connect with the images and related ideas in a central topic. For example, in this image that we have here with these post-its, and this help you to connect the idea. I love to work in that way, and that also helps you to see how many information you really have in a certain topic to be more specific. And the other one is the what if method. Ask a speculative question to explore new possibilities. And this helps a lot the creativity. What if people live in the water? What could happen? Then you start writing about this, and then you can find information. What if blah, blah, blah? You find a lot of topics and you start speculating through it. It doesn't matter how crazy it looks, it helps you to create. So now we're gonna take 10 minutes with the first one, free writing. You don't have to choose a topic, just let everything out. Don't try to make it a story or logical, just I don't know this, blah, blah, blah. I like to be in the water. You start writing, okay? So we're gonna start now. Everybody understood?
We're gonna write about the
No.
water?
No. We're gonna start with the first exercise, free writing. And you're gonna start writing whatever comes to your mind in the paper. It doesn't have to be logical, okay? This is the first step. We're gonna take 10 minutes for that. Write as much as you can. Okay, now we can stop. I love handwriting. I love it. See you. Now we're gonna read for ourselves this piece, and we're gonna circle or put in a color any phrases or words that caught our attention. Okay? We're gonna read for ourselves what we have and circle any word, phrases that we love about all this writing.
I want to highlight everything.
That's awesome. Go ahead. Write everything you found interesting. Okay, so I want some of you to share the phrase or a word that you found interesting.
I can go.
Okay, just one.
Shame came up a lot.
Good. Other person? I want to hear everyone in this one. So I'm gonna start. Leslie Martinez, tell me one. One word or phrase.
I I also just feel like museums can be such a healing place for people.
Beautiful. Maciel?
Home was my word.
Home. Kimberly?
I write in Spanish. El amor que tú me das.
Okay, thank you. Rosita, one word or phrase? You're mute. You're mute, Rosita. I cannot hear you.
So sorry. A
Okay.
phrase. It is no coincidence that it is at my age of 79 that I am able to focus on the issue of psychiatric abuse in my life that has been prevalent in my mind for decades.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Is I hear? Yeah, totally. Lillian? A phrase
Distractions.
or what?
Distractions.
Distraction. Sue? Go, Roberto, when Sue comes.
So a phrase for me is that I wrote is love shouldn't feel like a war of attrition. It should feel like surrender. And love is something that kept coming up for me.
Love it. Julie?
A word that kept coming up for me was fatigue.
Let's I feel you. Leslie Nunez?
So I think a theme that I'm noticing here is broken, cracked,
Okay.
infested.
Wow. Thank you. Little man or Moises? I don't know how you want us to call you.
It doesn't matter. I had with the spirit I had before.
Okay. Beautiful. Giselle?
Lessons.
What?
Lessons.
Okay. Sue Arisa, are you there? You share later in the chat. So save that word or topic and we're gonna follow. So as I tell you, we are in the first part, in the idea generation, and all of you have the opportunity to, through this exercise, start generating ideas. Focus on what we like, what we don't like, and these are first steps to start generating ideas. There are other techniques, as I told you, but we try the first one, free writing. And there are others like mind mapping or what if that are more visual through images, drawing, and things to connect the ideas. I'm gonna let you some exercises so you can try it later. But there is the next part. Now we generate the idea. Now we're gonna talk about how to select the best idea because we have many ideas, like Rosita said, but what is the best idea for me? And for that, we need to start to evaluate the potential of the idea. Assess each idea depth and relevance to my audience or to me. Then we're gonna consider the resources. Again, maybe I love an idea, but right now I don't have the time or the resources to go deep into that idea. So I just rather to start with another idea. And this is important to take that unconscious. And then the excitement, and this is the most important. I have to feel very excited to go through that idea. The passion is very important because we're going to have certain doubts, certain situation. And if we don't have this passion, this excitement, we're just going to let the idea. Okay. So this is a process, but we can have many angles. But I love this one, sorry, that we ask questions to ourselves. We start asking questions like, which idea excites me the most? This is one question that you can ask yourself to choose the best idea. Or does this idea have enough depth for exploration? Maybe yes, I have the idea, but when I narrow it down, I realize that I don't have many points to expand the idea. So I don't think for now this is the best idea. Or how relevant is the idea to my target, to my audience? I already know what my readers liked about what I write. Does this topic can resonate to them? Another question, do I have enough knowledge or experience with this topic? And I love that all of you have some experience or some knowledge about what you want to write. So what do you think about these questions to ask to your ideas? Which question you think you can start asking to find the best idea, for example? You hear? I want to hear you guys. This is the most important. Yeah.
I think that at least personally for me, how relevant this idea is to my target audience has helped me get over a lot of my angst, my doubts, because my target audience is people who went through so much that's very similar to what I went through. And a lot of immigrants have a very keen understanding of all the ways in which they could have failed along the way. And so my target audience is how come other people aren't in this situation where I am now, and how do we get us from A to B so we surpass our traumas, our physical limitations, our financial limitations, and the works. And the reason why I like this one in particular is because which idea excites me the most? This doesn't sound very pleasant to me. It's not excitement. It's almost like a duty. It's almost like a calling. And so it's allowed me to kind of supersede my fears, thinking about how to save everybody, for lack of a better term. I know that sounds a little grandiose, but is that not the goal? How to save everybody? So yeah, that moves me a lot.
Totally. I love it, Eduardo. And also, when you think about how relevant, it doesn't necessarily have to be for a person that has gone through that. But yes, of course, these are the more logical. But maybe there are other people that have not gone through that, but not in the same way. For example, abuse. We can feel abuse in many ways, not only sexual, not only a power thing. So abuse, we can feel it in many ways. So when someone talk about abuse, we feel identified. So it's important to not only think in the logical way how this can be relevant to this only will touch the people that have gone through that. No, because maybe my sister go through that and I'm touched about that, you know? So I want to give you that in your search. Love it. Another person that tell me which of these questions can help in the process to choose the idea. And we're gonna change excitement for passion because of what Eduardo says. Why we feel passion to write about. Sue?
I was gonna say that I like the question of, do I have enough knowledge or experience with this topic? I feel like we all have so much knowledge and so many things that we already know that we don't use. And that question helps me a lot because it helps me narrow down what to start with. Just to think about, okay, I already have all these knowledge on this topic. Why not start there and then see how it develops further? Instead of like starting with something that I'm just excited about but know nothing about.
Exactly. That's amazing, Sue. We need to know if we really have the information, if we really have the knowledge, if we really have the experience, because some topics take time. For example, like, I don't remember who said it, but someone talked about love. So what's my experience? How many relationships I have with another person that I can talk about this topic or what I know? So these are some questions. This is one method that can help you to find the best idea, asking questions. But there are other methods that are just gonna go fast before we go to the last exercise. And this could be, sorry, giving like a criteria, like, okay, to quantify how much this topic excitement. 3, I have content potential to write. 4, I have an audience. 0, etc. And then I can have a number that can tell me if someone is more from the numbers, then I have a reality to choose the topic. Another method that you can use to select ideas is like choose 3 ideas that you like. Then you start free writing about those ideas. And then you can analyze from 3 perspectives which felt most natural to me. More, I just want to talk about this. Because maybe from one topic, I just write 1 page. But in other, I write 10 pages. So I have something here. So this is another method using free writing to choose the best idea. Okay? Another is to talk. If there are talk active people, then I prepare a brief of idea and I present it to my friends or people that I can relate. And I tell, what do you think about this topic, about this perspective, about this idea? And in this conversation, you can see in which idea you respond more. And that is the best idea to follow. So here are some techniques that you can use to choose the better idea to start writing. So again, we start with the generation idea. Let me see you all. First, we start with generating idea through different methods. Now that we have many ideas, we can choose another method to choose the better idea. And we try these methods. And another, the one that we talk about right now is the questions. We can ask questions to ourselves about the topic or topics, and then we find information to choose the better ideas. I know right now this is a lot of information for you, but you will have this and you can start trying and start seeing. So now I want you to ask me questions. This is just a brief introduction to my course. And here we just see how to start generating ideas and how to choose the best idea. Now I want you to ask me questions or comments. I will really appreciate that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's not actually about generating the idea itself, because I think sometimes I don't really go with an actual idea into writing. I'm more like a, I guess you would call a spontaneous writer, whatever that is. But I think sometimes I get caught up in an idea and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then I know I can expand that idea, but sometimes I get stuck in that I'm done phase. And I don't know how to push forward with the idea because it is something that I want to continue exploring.
Yes.
Have any tips
This
for
is.
that?
Mhm. Yes, go ahead.
Oh no, I was asking if you have any tips for that. Like when you've already got the idea, you have a start on it, and you kind of want to keep flushing that same idea out, but you also don't want to get like boring, like a movie when you're like, okay, now you're dragging it. Like you could have just skipped that and went to this. So if you have any tips for that.
Yes, of course. First, it's important to identify if in which point this happened to you, like when you're finishing, when you're in the middle, at the beginning, in which point you feel like, oh, I'm just tired of this, because that can also help me to help you. And of course, in the course, we're going to have techniques about that. But yes, this can happen. And sometimes an idea just has a purpose and it finished and then you move to the other thing. But if this is a pattern that is repeated, then we need to start focusing in what is causing this so we can change it. Because maybe self-sabotage, maybe it could be fear, maybe it could be that you don't have a tool to follow. So I have to see the specific case, but of course, in the course, we're going to have techniques for that. So you don't get stuck in one moment because you have these tools that will help you. Oh, I have a lot of idea. Then I have this tool. Oh, I want to follow up, but I don't know. Then I have this tool that can help me. But yes, this can happen. Okay. And what else? Let me see. Are you coming back next Sunday, or is a course? No, this is a good question. This is just an introductory lesson for a course that I'll be giving with Dominican writers that Ruth can tell you where to link it. And I just want to give you an introduction that what we will see, what kind of techniques, the dynamics, so you know me a little bit. So this is like this. But I can come back another day, of course. I love it. And comments or questions? Will you feel interest, for example, in going through the course?
Yes, is this through university or through Dominican writers?
Through Dominican writers.
Okay, so there's no like college credit for this.
No, I don't, well, Ruth, no. What else? How you feel about the exercises? What you like? What you found? What questions, like myself, do you have?
I just found my topic of my dissertation. I've been thinking of getting back to school and getting some help with my writing and publishing. And I can't seem to move on it. And I just realized, wait a minute, I have a huge topic. I need help with research. I have to learn how to research. That's my dissertation. And what I want to connect is growing up, I had a sister who was mentally retarded and mute. And when she was just getting into her puberty, she was one angry young female teenager, and she would masturbate all over the place. And that caused like real problems for my parents, who were staunch Catholic, and female sexuality and the blah 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 blah. And they took her into the psychiatrist, and they suggested electroshock. So my sister, uh, and I was trailing her like for 2 years. So imagine I'm just coming of age and I'm seeing the scenery. Oh my gosh, if they only knew what what's happening in my
Okay.
body, what could happen to me as well. So but that ties in with Rosemary Kennedy, who was sister to John F. Kennedy. And she too, in that moment of puberty, of growing, of her sexuality blooming, and the doctors, the psychiatrists suggested a lobotomy, and that's exactly what she gave her. And this is so painful to me, and so dear to me, and so powerful. And I'm like, I got
Okay,
my
so
topic.
take a little breathe in a little bit, Rosita.
I got my topic.
Okay,
So,
amazing. But with be careful with this of how you write, that you don't hurt yourself, and that
right.
you
Or my
do
sister,
it with
or
exactly.
the thing, the audience whom I'm afraid I may hurt is to bring up like that moment of female sexuality when we come into bloom, to say that these disabled teenagers, especially female teenagers, are especially vulnerable to abuse because they're just blooming and they don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
and so I'm
Thank you,
very
Rosita,
vulnerable
for
situation
sharing
right now.
this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to write about this. Thank you. Another person have a question about the course, about any exercise or comment? Thank you, the ones that liked it. Okay. When is the course? All the information we'll give through Dominican writers, but like I tell you, the course will be from the idea to have this idea to a well-structured piece of writing. It doesn't matter that it's a short story, a memoir, an essay, then we have it through all these exercises And we're going to talk a little bit about the emotional part. For example, about Rosita talks, like how to not hurt ourselves writing. Just go through our emotions, but in a beautiful way that we can heal through the writing process. So thank you all for this opportunity. This is my first workshop in English. I was very excited.
That was great.
And
Thank
how
you
to
so
heal,
much.
Thank you.
and how to heal humanity too, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because other heal through
Right.
our writing.
Thank you, Ellie. Great job. I
Thank
loved
you.
it.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank
Guys,
you.
if you're curious about learning a bit more about this topic that Ellie has shared with us today, and I see some of the questions have been coming in, just follow this account on Instagram. We'll be able to share with you further information when Ellie can be back, when we can do this course in further detail. We have a Dominican Writers Instagram account, but we also have Dominican Writers Workshop Instagram account that if you don't already follow it, please do follow it because we will be sharing more information about our Sunday salon series and more on Ellie's topic, okay? So
And I will send you some exercise so you keep practicing this, okay?
Ellie, do we have to come in with a draft, or are we working on something we are already doing, or is this like just you're just gonna give us the tools and then we can work on something?
Both are welcome. You can come with a piece or you can come just, hi, I'm here. So both.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good Sunday.
That's a good question. I will put it in the description.
great.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. See you next Sunday. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great day,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Eli, quédate.
Okay.
And Ruth.